Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. I want to say thanks to all of you. We're in our lesson 200, maybe 10, 9, somewhere in that area. I want to thank all of you for sticking with us. We have lessons coming, more on the way, and we have a lot of review to do. It's like muscles. We have to keep exercising the same muscles, right? So we've got to go back into that language learning module and revisit all those areas that we have input so that we can keep them at a high level of efficiency. Today, we want to take a look at a very high level of communication. We're going to be using the conditional, which is verb number 7, and we're going to be using the past subjunctive, which is verb number 9. Now, we just had a lesson on unreal situations, contrary to fact situations, starting with the word si, which is if. When you say, if I had time, si tuviera tiempo, if I could go, si yo pudiera ir, if it were not raining, si no estuviera lloviendo, if I had studied more, si hubiera estudiado más. All those are followed by the past subjunctive. Hubiera, pudiera, tuviera, estuviera. All those are past subjunctive. Sometimes with hubiera, right, we can follow with the past participle, verb number 2. After estuviera, we can follow by verb number 1, the present participle, the ando y yendo. Well, today we're going to take what we learned in our prior lesson, forming unreal situations with a past subjunctive preceded by the word if, si, and we're going to put the conditional in front. Verb number 7, the conditional is going to go in front. So all these sentences start off with a conditional phrase, then there's si, if, and then the past subjunctive. So these would be 79 if it's straight conditional past subjunctive. You're going to find out in some we have past subjunctive followed by the ado ilo, verb number 2. So those would be a 792 would be our license plate. Then we have some followed by estuviera, which is 9, and then an ando yendo, which is 1. So we're going to have some 791s, some 792s, and some 779s. Okay, so those are our license plates. Those are the verb numbers from the verb numbering system. If you can do these sentences, wow, you are really, really talented, and all that input we have put into the language learning module is still up at a high functioning level. But for most of us, me included, we need to go back and review and practice to re-strengthen those muscles, to bolster that knowledge that we already have. So let's take a look at our first one. I would go if I could. Well, we know that would is going to end in ia. Whether I would, you would, he would, it's going to end in some form of ia, ias, ia, iamos, ian. Now let's take a brief moment and look back at our conditional irregulars. You have decir, which would be diría, I would say. Haber, which would be habría. Hacer would be haría. Poder, podría. Saber, sabría. Poner, pondría. Salir, saldría. Tener, tendría. Valer, valdría. And venir, vendría. For example, the house would be worth, la casa valdría much more, mucho más, if it were close to the beach. La casa valdría mucho más si estuviera más cerca de la playa, right? I would put the money in the bank if I had it. Pondría el dinero en el banco si lo tuviera. There are two examples. Let's go here. We have many examples. The first one, I would go. So that's the verb ir. You're just going to add ia to the end, right? Iría, iría, si, poder. How do you form the past subjunctive? You take the ellos form of the preterite, you change that o to an a, and you're in. Iría, si, pudiera. That's a powerful sentence. Iría, si pudiera. I would go if I could. It would snow if it were colder. Well, let's identify our verbs. To snow is nevar, and to be colder would be hacer más frío. It would snow. Take nevar and put ia on the end. Nevaría si, it would snow if. Nevaría si, what's the past subjunctive of hacer? Well, hicieron, you change that O to an A, and you've got it. Nevaría si hiciera más frío. Would you do it if they asked you? To do is hacer, and to ask we have preguntar, to ask a question, and then there's pedir, to ask you to do something. The verb we want to use here is pedir. Would you do it if they asked you? So hacer, we're going to put a lo in front. Lo, and then H-A-R, lo harías si te lo pidieran, P-I-D-I-E-R-A-N. Lo harías si te lo pidieran? We put the lo in front of pidieran, meaning it. That's what they're asking you to do without stating what exactly it is. But in Spanish, in this instance, we would insert the lo even though it doesn't really translate back to English. Would you do it? Lo harías si te lo pidieran. Down here, I would buy it if it didn't cost so much. Well, to buy is comprar, and to cost is costar. So I would buy it would be lo compraría si no. What's the passive subjunctive of costar? Costaron, change the O to A, get rid of the N. Lo compraría si no costara tanto. Perdón. Iría si pudiera. Nevaría si hiciera más frío. Lo harías si te lo pidieran. Lo compraría si no costara tanto, so much. All right, let's take a look at our middle clusters here. It would be good if you stayed. Okay, to be, it's either ser or estar. We're going to go with ser. It would be good, ser. Put the ia on the end. Sería bueno. Sería bueno si. Quedarse is reflexive. So we need the to reflexive pronoun in front, which is te. Now take the passive subjunctive of quedar, which would be quedaron, drop the N, change the O to A. Sería bueno si te quedaras. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Hacer, again, hacer. No lo haría si. Now, ser and ir in the passive subjunctive are the same. You have fueron, you change that O to an A, get rid of the N. So it is. No lo haría si fuera tú. No lo haría si yo fuera tú. No lo haría si fuera tú. The dog would get out if you left the door open. To get out is escaparse, to escape. It's reflexive, escaparse. The dog would get out. In other words, the dog would escape. El perro se escaparía si. El perro se escaparía si. To leave the door open is dejar la puerta abierta. Abierta ends in A because it agrees with puerta. So, el perro se escaparía si dejar, past subjunctive, dejaron, change the O to an A, get rid of the N and add an S. El perro se escaparía si dejaras la puerta abierta. We would win if we didn't make so many mistakes. Boy, oh boy, is that not true with so many teams? Ganar, ganar in the we form. Ganaríamos si no. Okay, hacer in the past subjunctive, go to hicieron, change the O to A and drop the N. And then if we didn't put the we ending, it would be ganaríamos si no hiciéramos tantos errores. Ganaríamos si no hiciéramos tantos errores. Beautiful. Okay, it would be good if you stayed. Sería bueno si te quedaras. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Yo no lo haría si fuera tú. The dog would get out if you left the door open. El perro se escaparía si dejaras la puerta abierta. We would win if we didn't make so many mistakes. Ganaríamos si no hiciéramos tantos errores. All right, let's look at our last group of clusters. It would be fun if we went. Well, it would be right here. It's ser, sería. Sería divertido si. It would be fun if. Sería divertido si we went. That's the verb ir in the preterite. It's fueron. Change the O to A, get rid of the N, and put the we ending. Sería divertido si fuéramos. Fuéramos. I would like it if you were here. Well, me gusta is I like it. I would like would be me gustaría. I would like it if. Me gustaría si estar in the passive subjunctive. Estuvieron, change the O to A, get rid of the N, and put an S. Me gustaría si estuvieras aquí. I would help if I didn't have to work. Ayudar is to help, and tener que trabajar is to have to work. I would help if. Ayudaría si. The conditional is so easy. Ayudaría si no tener. In the passive subjunctive, take tuvieron, change that O to an A, get rid of the N. Ayudaría si no tuviera que trabajar. We would be skiing if there were snow. Let's take a star. We would be, estaríamos. Skiing is the ing, esquiando. Estaríamos esquiando if there were snow. Si hubiera nieve. Now, what would the verb license plate for this be? Estaríamos would be a 7. Skiing would be a 1, so it's a 71. Hubiera is a 9, so it's a 719, a 719, a 719. That would be our license plate to identify the verb numbers of the verbs that are conjugated in this sentence. Here, I would stay if I could. Okay, back to quedarse. It's reflexive. Me, take the infinitive quedar and put an ia on the end. Me quedaría si, I would stay if. Me quedaría si pudiera. All right, let's do them all one more time. I would go if I could. Iría si pudiera. It would snow if it were colder. Nevaría si hiciera más frío. Would you do it if they asked you? ¿Lo harías si te lo pidieran? I would buy it if it didn't cost so much. Lo compraría si no costara tanto. It would be good if you stayed. Sería bueno si te quedaras. I wouldn't do it if I were you. No lo haría si fuera tú. The dog would get out if you left the door open. El perro se escaparía si dejaras la puerta abierta. We would win if we didn't make so many mistakes. Ganaríamos si no hiciéramos tantos errores. It would be fun if we went. Sería divertido si fuéramos. I would like it if you were here. Me gustaría si estuvieras aquí. Me gustaría si estuvieras aquí. I would help if I didn't have to work. Ayudaría si no tuviera que trabajar. We would be skiing if there were snow. Estaríamos esquiando si hubiera nieve. I would stay if I could. Me quedaría si pudiera. All right, so we're using the conditional si with the past subjunctive. You use this to say what you would do if you could, what would happen if it could happen, right? All these sentences are using a form of the conditional and some form of the past subjunctive, either by itself or with an ing, which is verb number 1, or with an ed, which is verb number 2. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Gracias. Hey, we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before the holidays, and the holidays are right around the corner. So I would greatly appreciate it if you have not, if you would please subscribe. Also, if you like our lesson and subscribe, we can help get it out to more people, and that's the objective here, is to get the lesson out to as many people as possible. And if our type of teaching and instruction works for you, then let's get the lesson out to everybody. Okay, thanks guys. See you soon. Everything's great. Love you guys. Appreciate all your attention when we do our lessons. Take your Spanish out there. practice it, create sentences, sit at a stoplight in your car, think in Spanish, translate things that you hear in English, right? When you look at a headline in the newspaper or in the news, try to translate it to Spanish or at least communicate what that idea is. Okay? Gracias es todo por ahora. Hasta la próxima lección. Colorín colorado. Esta lección se ha enseñado. Gracias. Bye bye.